Hello friends, and welcome to Escaping the Mouse with your host, me, Breck Roll. Alright, we're on day 3 of the planter, and let's just pick it up. As you recall, this is where we left off yesterday. Got the one planter on the left basically formed out. I've laid out the pavers for the walkway that's going to go between the planters, and now we got to build the second one. Now, of course, once again, my neighbor's out in the yard with his gas-powered noisemakers, so we're going to have to deal with that again. So anyway, let's get going with it. I'm going to start trenching this thing out. Alright, I got the first level of the second planter completed now, and for the most part, that's almost the end of the hard work on this. The rest of it's just going to be putting it back together. There is one more thing I want to do. I want to level this out, get this grass out of here. So I'm going to probably end up shaving a couple inches off here and kind of trying to make it nice and flat, kind of like I did over on this side. And then we can kind of fill back in, try and get it all nice and flat, and you know, barricade everything in there so the boards stay where they are. And then all I gotta do is start putting the second level on. And like I said, that's a piece of cake. All you gotta do is just set the pieces in place. So it's coming along great. I'll move on to the next step, which I said is leveling this off and getting this grass out of here. Alright, so we are done now. The framing is done. That's the hard part. Now we just got to build it up, and I got to poke in those rebar pieces because they're all going to have to go down a little bit. But they're going to stand up a little bit high right now, and then we'll figure out how far down I have to how far I have to push them down after we get the second layer on this thing. And I can just set the bricks on top, and then we'll figure out how far down to go. Alright, there we go. We got the second level on. I actually didn't put the pieces on the front of the planter because I think I'm going to use the wheelbarrow to wheel the dirt in, and it's easier to do that if I'm not having to go up over the lip. So next step I think I got to do is calculate how much dirt I'm going to need, and go to Home Depot and buy some. But I'm also going to take some yard waste. I have a whole bunch of like leaves that I've got in the yard that I'm going to put at the bottom of this, and that'll just kind of create a source of nutrients for the dirt in the future. So I think that's going to be the first thing I'm going to do, is I'm going to start wheeling some of that leaf waste in here. Alright, so I got some of the leaf waste into the planter. Like I said, that's going to just kind of become the base, and that will kind of deteriorate over time and turn into some nice, real fertile soil. It also allows me to get rid of it without having to send it to the landfill, so that's a good thing too. So next step I think I got to do is run over to Home Depot and get some soil to fill this thing up. Now this thing's a little bit more than 4 feet by 8 feet, so I'm figuring I'm going to need about 3 to 3.5 cubic yards of soil. So we may end up actually making a couple trips on this depending on how much my car can hold. Now I figured it was going to take multiple trips in order to get all of the soil home. As I said, I needed about 3 cubic yards of soil, and the soil comes in 1.5 cubic foot bags. So you do the math on that, 3 cubic yards you need, and they come in 1.5 foot bags. You're looking at 42 bags. So I don't really want to put more than 10 or 11 in the car at a time. So that means about 4 trips. But there's also an advantage to doing that, because my estimate is just that for how much soil I'm going to need. It's an estimate because I'm not sure exactly how much this leaf waste is going to compress. I'm expecting it'll compress quite a bit because, you know, when you put the soil on top of it, that'll go down. Because right now, you know, you look at it and the bed looks like it's half full of leaves, but that's all going to compress down when I put the soil on top of it. So doing it a little bit at a time and putting it in there and seeing how it all works out, that's probably the best way to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to empty a couple bags each into the wheelbarrow, break it up, because this stuff's been on a pallet for a while. It's all kind of compressed into a brick, so I'm going to want to kind of break it up a little bit before we pour it into the planter. But that'll allow us to kind of see what it looks like as we go along, so we don't maybe over purchase. Oh, and one more thing. This little part of the project is actually sponsored by my mom and my dad. Last Christmas, for Christmas, they gave me a $200 gift card. So the soil that's going into my planter is being paid for by that. So thank you, Mom and Dad. Alright, the first 11 bags are into the first planter. I'm glad to say that my estimates on how much we're going to need are a little bit of overestimate. It looks like the leaves aren't compressing down quite as much as we thought. That's a good thing. That'll allow me to have to put less in here. I'm going to probably need some more still in here, and I'll probably overfill it a little bit because over the next few months as it rains and stuff like that, this will all kind of settle down and compact down a bit. But at this point, I don't think I'm going to need 42 bags. We'll probably be able to get away with significantly less than that. So let's go back to Home Depot and get some more dirt. Alright, so I've been back to Home Depot again, got another 11 bags of soil, and I've got the second planter filled in. I think we'll probably have to make one more trip to Home Depot, but I don't think I'm going to do that today. You know, at this point the day is kind of coming to an end, and I think I'm going to wrap this one up here pretty quick. I do want to do one more thing before we finish for the day, and that is I want to kind of put these pebbles in the center section so that we get this all kind of finished up and looking like it's supposed to look. So that's, I think, going to be the final task of the day. Alright, so there we go. We got the pebbles kind of going down the walkway here, kind of filling in the dirt around it. I think it looks really good. Turned out well. I think I'm going to probably need a little bit more pebbles because it's a little thin back here. I also kind of want to put pebbles between the shed and the back of the planter here, just to kind of keep stuff from growing in there. But ultimately, this turned out really well. I'm really happy with it, and we'll be ready to plant here come this spring. Like I said, I'm going to probably put some more dirt in here because I want to get it up to at least the level of the top of the planter, and maybe higher than that, because it will settle over a while. But you know, this wasn't a terribly difficult job to do. The worst part of it, I think, was just the fact that since the yard is sloped, I had to do so much cutting into the existing landscape to keep everything level. But you know, it was worth the results. This should hold up for a number of years, and like I said, come spring, we'll be ready to do some planting in here. So I think that's all that I have for today. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you next time on Escaping the Mouse. Good night.